So I'm going to read, so I apologize. I'm completely out of my comfort zone. But my name is Lana Byland, and I reside here in Utah County. And like so many others, addiction has hugely impacted my family. I am the mother of 8 adult children. My youngest is right here. 5 of which have substance use disorder. I hate the word addict. I know it's a word, but it's just, I'm a true believer in you are who you are told you are. So I prefer to say substance use disorder. 4 of these children have used heroin and other forms of opiates. I have no professional title. I'm just a mom with a strong will to keep people alive while we all work to get on top of this horrible epidemic that we found ourselves in. I am an administrator for the Utah chapter of a group called the Addicts Mom. That puts me in touch with many moms and dads that walk in my same shoes. We all have one common goal, and that is to keep our children alive until they find help and their road to recovery. I preach continuously on this page how important it is to arm ourselves with naloxone. Many of these moms have children that are in jail or prison, so I tell them, please, please, before you bring them home, get naloxone. I carry it myself in my purse. I have it in my medicine cabinet. I have it in my kitchen. I make sure my children have it. I make sure my children know how to use it. I've even taught my 10-year-old granddaughter how to use it. I've met these moms on the side of the freeway, and I teach them how to administer naloxone and give them a few kits. I've mailed kits to moms in remote areas of the state. Most of the time they ask to reimburse me for shipping or gas costs. Of course, I don't let them. I just reply that if I spend $1 million in postage and even one life is saved from my efforts, then it will be worth every red penny. November 4th of this past year, I was scrolling through Facebook checking on the moms when I came upon the following post, and I asked this mom if I could share. She says, "What a horrible night. Things have been going semi-okay. My son has been busy and working. We had family over and all was going well, and then he excused himself. He didn't come back, so after 15 minutes, I went to look for him. He had went to the bathroom and used. His lips were blue, his body white. He was unresponsive. I used the naloxone that Lana sent me. It worked, and he is still here. Now to decide what to do next." Without that naloxone, there would have been no deciding on what to do next. That decision would have already been made for this family. They would have buried their son. December 2016, that decision was made for a family in North Carolina. A young 22-year-old daughter overdosed and died on the bathroom floor of a local Taco Bell. I wonder if there had been naloxone in that Taco Bell's first aid kit, if that family would have had an opportunity to have planned themselves what to do next. Too many mothers are kneeling at the caskets of their children. Wives are losing husbands, husbands losing wives, children losing parents. Naloxone gives these people a second chance, sometimes a third chance. To me, it doesn't matter if it's their 10th chance. It's too late to find treatment if they are dead. In closing, I just want to say that every single life matters. The life of that young man who was on the brink of death on the floor of his mother's bathroom, his life matters. That 22-year-old girl that died all alone on the floor of the Taco Bell restroom, her life mattered. My friend that was saved a few times right here in Spanish Fork by the first responders, he is now the father of twins and a productive member of society. His life matters. And the lives of my 4 lost children. Even though some days it feels like they're gonna suck the life right out of me, their lives matter. I just wanna thank the Plums for what they're doing. It's such a relief for me to know that I have naloxone. I don't know if my children will be with me, if they should overdose, but to know that if I walk down into the basement, I could save their lives and give them an opportunity for treatment to get better. Anyways, thank you.
Let me just say, I want these guys to come up. The most difficult committee that I've sat through since I've been in the legislature. You guys saw the video of the family, the father and the mother, talking about losing their son. I sat in committee. He testified in committee next to me. and testified about his situation, and it was a terrible event. He found his son right after the overdose. If he'd had naloxone, he clearly would have saved his son. And the thing is, he was a father who knew he had a child with a problem. And you've got parents throughout the state that literally don't know this drug exists. So I'm really proud of the work we did. I've got these guys up here. I'm going to pull up a slide. I want them to come up, and I've got something for you guys afterwards, but there's a slide. This is the most meaningful slide, and I know it's hard to see. I'm going to read through every one of them, and these guys were part of this. So 34-year-old male on May 25th. So the Spanish Fork Police Department started carrying Narcan on May of 2016. They were trained this year. So these stats are from 2016 only. So we've got a 34-year-old male on May 25th. Our two officers are going to talk about that experience. You've got a 34-year-old male on June 21st, a 60-year-old female August 13th, 19-year-old male August 22nd, 30-year-old male August 9th, 41-year-old male November 19th, 31-year-old male November 19th, 16-year-old female, 16-year-old girl November 26th, 23-year-old female, 23 years old, December 6th, 19-year-old female, December 22nd. These people are all alive today because of our officers, and these are actual people. They wouldn't give me names, thankfully, but these are people that Spanish Fork has been part of. So these guys when they get done, I'm going to give them an award because I think it's awesome. But give them a round of applause once they're done. I want you guys to come tell your experience because I think it's awesome.
So if it's okay with Mike, we would kind of like to tell you guys what we see from our point of view when we come to a scene where it's a possible overdose. Obviously, a call comes in. We don't know for sure what the culprit is for the overdose. Most of the time, you can see the color, like Dr. Plum was saying. Color is a dead giveaway. 90% of the time we get there, the people who called are friends or people they used with, and they've hidden the drug. It's gone. Any method's gone. So really, we have no idea what we've run into. Most of the people we see are overdosing, obviously with heroin, but it's mainly injections is what we're seeing. I don't think I've been to one yet where they've smoked it or snorted it.
I just have injections.
It's all injections because it's to me from our training it works faster, gets in the system faster. So that's what we see. You can see this right here. 4 of them are from me. And he could probably count for a couple of them himself.
Yeah, I've got 3 or 4. I can't remember. I think it's just 3.
So that's. I mean, obviously, you can see that we've got a problem here in Spanish Fork. Anybody can tell that drugs are everywhere. It's a big war. It's something that we're going to be fighting against for our whole careers, and we're never going to win. It's out there. So, I mean, to me. People ask me, you know, how do you feel about saving these lives? To me, I'm doing my job. I really wish I didn't have to. I really wish that the drugs were gone, but in reality, they're going to be here in the long haul. So that's I think Officer Lewis here is the same thing. You know, we hate going to these situations because we know what it's the culprit's heroin, and that's the big problem here in Spanish Fork. Whenever we arrest somebody, I'd have a friendly conversation of why they're using, what got them to the meth, the heroin, whatever they're using, and a majority of them with heroin are opioid users that started with pain pills. It was pain pills when they either got hurt or their friends introduced them to them. It's in the drug world, and it got too expensive to get those. So, like she said, I mean, heroin. In Salt Lake, it's a little cheaper. You get out of the city, it gets a little more expensive. But you see people from Utah County go to Salt Lake County and get a bunch of it and bring it down here and start distributing. That's where our problem is right now. So that's what we're seeing in our profession. Like I said, it's something that we wish we didn't have to do, but it's there. It's always going to be there. So I started this profession in 2013, and at the time. I mean, between then and May of last year when we got it, you would get to these scenes and no, it's an overdose, but we didn't have the tools to do anything. It was CPR, rescue breaths until medical got there, because they were the ones that carried it. So now we get these scenes, and it's like, wow, we can start right now. We don't have to wait 10, 15 minutes for the ambulance to get here, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, we'll go into the story, but it's pretty cool stuff to see it actually be administered and how the people come out of it. So, well, Officer Lewis start the story because it's his call.
It was on May 25th that we got a call that a friend called in, said his friend wasn't conscious at the time, and it was just a kind of an unknown medical at that point. So Officer Smith and I, we responded. We were pretty close. I remember just being a few blocks away, and we entered the house and found him laying on the couch. I remember we both asked his friend, you know, what did he take? Did he take anything? And he said he didn't know. So at that time, we didn't really know what was going on with him. We just knew he was unconscious. He was still breathing, but it was very slow, and he was starting to change color, and at that time, it didn't look very good. So we moved him off of the couch onto the floor. So if we had to start CPR, we'd be able to do that. Obviously, if he's on a couch, you can't do chest compressions and those sorts of things. When we did that, I noticed there was a small container where he was laying that looked like drug paraphernalia, something somebody would keep something in that they, you know, meth or heroin or whatever it might be. I kind of ignored it for a second, and we were just paying attention to what to do with him. Officer Smith, about that time, I think that's when he noticed that the patient had stopped breathing, and that's when I was opening up this container and saw heroin inside, and so we had a pretty good idea what we were dealing with. So Officer Smith began to give him chest compressions, and I got out my Narcan. I just carried it on the front of my belt. I wrap it up in tape because it's in this orange thing. Everyone thinks I stashed a candy bar in there, and so just to, you know, get stopped asked that. But it's pretty much what, you know, the kind that she showed earlier. We kind of already have it set up, so it's just ready to go. We just have to take the little vial out here, put it in, and you twist it, and it's ready. You put half of it in one nostril, then the other half in the other, and it works really fast. Typically, when somebody's overdosed, though, they've taken a lot. You know, a lot of things that we see is somebody just gotten out of jail, so they've been clean for a couple weeks, and they come back and try to take that same amount, and now they overdose. So we continued doing CPR. We weren't getting any response from him. I started giving him rescue breaths while Officer Smith gave him chest compressions, and that's when he got his out and gave it to him. By that time, the ambulance had got there, and we were all doing our part. He eventually came to, and it was pretty sudden. There's video of it. I think if you go to, I think it was Channel 5 News that has the video. I can't remember, but if you Google it, you can probably still find it and see from our body cams. You can see him just suddenly sit up, and he doesn't know, you know, really what happened or what's going on. I know people have seizures when they come out of it. It's kind of a similar thing. They're very confused. Sometimes they fight, you know, and they just they're not aware of what just happened, and it's just they're very confused. It's not something they would normally do, and so we had to restrain him for a second, and eventually we got him out to the ambulance, and that's when he started coming around to what had happened, and we took him to the hospital. So do you have anything to add? Or?
Well, and with the slide I showed you a minute ago of let's see, was it this one? So you'll see the 34-year-old male May 25th, and then 34-year-old male June 1st. First male we used it on was the 25th. The June 1st was actually the same male. So that's another thing we're running into, is that you're coming across the same people. And what worries me is that you've saved him once, now you've saved him twice. What's it going to take for him to stop? Going back to this thing right here, I mean, the three that I've been involved in, we've charged, but they all go to the hospital. And I'm not going to go to the hospital and wait for 2, 3, 4 hours till they're done with their treatment or whatever. So they do get charged, but it's in the form of a summons. They'll get it in the mail or a warrant. So these people are getting charged, and getting accountable for their action. But I don't know if anybody's read, in the last year they changed our drug laws. So a simple possession of heroin, meth, cocaine is now a Class A misdemeanor if you don't have priors. So most people, I mean, get a ticket and are on their way, and most likely leave us, go buy some stuff, and get back to using it.
Unfortunate.
It's just it's a big cycle, and that's what I was saying. The war on drugs. It's always going to be there. Another thing that we're seeing too is, I mean, obviously he showed you this. This is one dose, right? This is what we carry.
We're not.
So
No, you're fine. You drop them all the time.
he told it in the story. So he gave his first, which it brought the guy back to breathing, but he still was. He was blue. He wasn't responding to our sternum rubs. He just wasn't responding, but he was breathing. It lasted for maybe a minute, 2 minutes, his breathing, and then he just crashed again. So that's why we're finding each time we're using 2 of these. So 2 officers are using their naloxone on that patient. So it's kind of, and to me that's saying that they're using a lot. Well, so going back to him real quick. Say we get 3 or 4 friends that are using together. They've changed the law now. I think you covered it in your slide. It's the Good Samaritan law. So if a friend goes down and one friend calls, the other friend's actively trying to save them, then they're immune from getting charged, even if they have a ton of heroin or whatever drug on them. They're immune from it, and that was to help get people to call so these people would not die.
Okay, I would think that little law, I don't think is well known.
The Good Samaritan
And I was
law?
going to ask you if the fear of prosecution is keeping people from calling mothers, brothers, friends, for calling on their,
Calling for help.
your guy's down, your friend's down, I'm not going to call because he's going to get busted. Do you see that's...
Well, and that's there, yes, I would say that's there.
And that gets you guys there too late and then it's over.
Yeah, exactly. And like the Good Samaritan law, it covers the friend. It covers the person who calls, or it covers the person who's working on that person to save them. It's been out there. I've heard it a few times on the news, but I agree. It needs to be out there more. But because of that doesn't mean that like the 19-year-old female, she had a lot. She had a lot in her house. So to me, she needs to take consequences of overdosing. So
It also helps them get into drug court and get other steps in the future to help them get clean as well. So
Mean dog, there's no doubt about
Okay, I'm gonna step in. It's almost 9 o'clock. You guys have been a great audience. Okay, these guys are awesome. What I brought for these guys, because I mean, really, they're saving lives. They're implementing a law that I was a part of, and I think it's amazing what you guys have done, honestly. And you can look at the list; those are real people that potentially wouldn't be here today. So you've got flags. I'm giving you flags. I'm going to give one to the department. These are kind of cool, just so you guys know. I shouldn't. This is my little secret, but these have flown over the United States Capitol in Washington D.C. You can actually get these. I got these from Congressman Chaffetz. They're actually pretty cheap. They're super cool though. That's what I'm going to give you guys tonight. I'm going to give you one to take back to your office. We need to wrap up. I know Dr. Plum's going to stick around. I know we've got kits. I know you have questions, but give these guys a round of applause really quick because these guys are awesome. We ask way too much of our law enforcement guys, but it's cool hearing the stories because you guys get involved, and it worked. The cool story is how you guys did training when? So May 25th happens. When did you guys actually do your training?
like a week before.
yeah,
A week before. It's crazy.
not very long.
Carbon County, they had to save what?
Like within 48 hours, Washington County within 24 hours, Salt Lake City within
Yeah.
24 hours.
So one of the things I advertised, I wanted a lot of people to come tonight because this is an epidemic that people need to be aware of. You're a small group, and part of the reason I wanted Spanish Work 17 to come is so we could broadcast this out. I'm amazed as I talk to people how few people understand how big of a problem this really is. I mean, I do car accidents in my office. I deal with death cases. 10 times more people die from opioids than drunk driving. 10 times, and those numbers are scary. They're scary. So get out in the community, let people know. We've got kits. I don't have anybody in my house that takes opioids at all, period. but I have a kit sitting in my desk, and I'm going to continue to keep a kit in my desk because you don't know when you're going to get the call. And Mike, I know I'm going to pick on you publicly because we got the camera rolling. Utah County, you're a colonel over there. I know you guys are going to roll some of this out. Appreciate that. I want to hear, we're kind of neighbors. We're in the same community. I want to hear back. I want to hear your successes. It's unfortunate that the success has been tremendous, and that's scary. Because that's how many people these guys are showing up and seeing that. So thank you for being here tonight. We'll take questions, and Dr. Plum will be here and come see what she's got. So thank you, Spanish Work 17.